UFC 307 saw Alex Pereira retain the UFC's light heavyweight championship, battling sickness, illness, fatigue, injury, and Khalil Roundtree to pick up a fourth round knockout of Roundtree. Where does Pereira sit on the pound-for-pound rankings? Here we go. Coming in at number 10, it is Alex Volkanovski. Yes, he has lost his title, but he was a pound-for-pound number 2 for a while, and the only guys he loses to are guys who are on this list. So I cannot still knock this dude off of this list right now. He comes in at number 10. At 9, it is Leon Edwards. Again, you get a couple wins over a guy who was in the top 3, you're going to stay on the list. Even with a loss, and even with a frustrating loss, I can't put him all the way off of it yet, so he is at 9. At 8, Merab Dvalishvili. A win over Sean O'Malley and a championship gets you on the list. But given, again, the quality of the opposition that we are dealing with ahead of him, there was no one. 8 does feel a little bit low. Maybe if it was a bit more, it was a dominant win over Sean O'Malley, but I do think if it was a bit more of a ba-boom win, then maybe he moves up, but I couldn't put him ahead of the rest. At 7, it's Bilal Muhammad. It's been quite the run up to a championship point, and then a win over Leon Edwards, who again has a resume that keeps him on this list even after a loss. I think you have to reward that, so he gets at 7. At 6, it's John Jones. Dana White would say that any pound-for-pound list that includes John Jones, doesn't have it number 1, is stupid. So I guess this list is stupid. But inactivity for John Jones, you have to keep him on here because he's the heavyweight champion of the world. But it hasn't happened in a while, and it's only happened once in a really long time. So you can't put him any higher, I don't think, than 6 on this list. At 5, it is Tom Aspinall. A phenomenal run of knockouts has him in the top 5, and now potentially setting up a fantastic clash with him and Alex Pereira as the two kind of teased that on social media. At 4, Ilia Topuria, Volkanovski, the only guys who he loses to, or the only guy he's lost to is Islam Makhachev, who we haven't talked about yet and will. So that tells you how high this cat is on the pound-for-pound rankings. So Topuria, I think, puts himself in some rarefied air with a win over Volkanovski, and now has an opportunity to move even higher as he gets ready for Max Holloway. At 3, it is Dricus Du Plessis. A win over Israel Adesanya helps. Beating Sean Strickland, who beat him, also helps. And it hasn't been overly convincing all the time. And there are very few things that he does that you would teach that way in any martial arts school ever. But the wins continue to pile up, and he continues to show the type of fighter that he is. So he comes in the top 3. At 2, it's a win, but I can't move him. Alex Pereira stays in the number 2 spot. A victory over Khalil Roundtree does not put you to number 1. Now, if the Instagram thing plays out and we get a fight with him and Aspinall next, I think the winner of that probably moves to number 1. You either have Pereira, who would now have wins over champions in 3 different weight classes, which I feel pretty confident in saying that's never happened before. So that would be unbelievable. Or you have Aspinall, who has knocked off a guy who is 2 in the rankings and has been dominant along the way. So that fight would be for the number 1 spot in the men's pound-for-pound rankings, a ranking currently held by Islam Makhachev. When you have 2 fights of the top 2 fighters in the pound-for-pound rankings and you win both of them, you hold on to the crown for a really long time. And that is what Islam Makhachev is doing, as he is the number 1 fighter in our UFC men's pound-for-pound rankings.